You are causing mischief. Yes, you are. You're being a bad cat. True, I have a pretty childish sense of humor. Hi, everyone. So, long time no see, YouTube. I know it has been a hot minute since I've uploaded a real, actual YouTube video, and it's genuinely just because I really hate A, filming, and B, editing long-form videos. So I apologize, and it's one of my 2022 resolutions to upload more on YouTube, so here you go. So today we are going to go through all of the juicy assumptions you have about me. I mean, really, they're not that juicy, but like, come on, I have to hype up the video or else you guys are gonna stop watching. So we are just gonna call them that. So I asked on my Instagram stories about a week ago what you guys thought about me and just like general assumptions you had about me, my character, just I don't know. And a lot of you guys responded, so I have read through all of them, kind of picked and choose and categorized so that I can address them in this video. I don't know if you can tell, like talking to myself on camera, at first it takes me a little bit of time to kind of warm up and get adjusted to it. So I thought that I would bring in my friend, alcohol. So I am typically a tequila gal, but you know, in this household we don't have any right now. All we have is this absolutely disgusting Bacardi Dragonberry drink. I don't even know what Bacardi is. Like, what is it? Gin? I don't know. I never drink this stuff. My friends actually left it here, so sorry. I'm gonna owe you a shot of Bacardi. Even smelling this stuff just brings back really bad memories. I don't know what it is about tequila, but I've always just been a fan of it. It never makes me like gag or, you know, black out. I might have lied there, but this stuff is not very good. Also, it's kind of sad that I'm literally drinking at like, it's not even 3 p.m. Ow! You were an asshole. It's not even 3 p.m. here when I'm drinking, but you know, cheers to that, so. That's nasty. So the first assumption about me is Korean, question mark, exclamation point. No, I am not Korean. So my sister took a DNA test and I am 100% that bitch. But other than that, I'm about, sorry, that was really cringy. I'm about 97% Chinese. Hello. So yeah, that's really all there is to know in regards to my ethnicity. So this is editing, Vanessa. I mean, very clearly. And I realized that I completely lied to you. Maybe it was because I was drunk already. I'm kidding. I actually am partially Korean. I double checked like my text messages with my sister. I'm 7% Korean. I think I said I was 97% Chinese, but I lied. I'm 93% Chinese and about 7% Korean, so there's that. But I don't think 7% is enough to be like, I'm Korean. So, you know, I'm just, yeah, okay, anyways. Okay, bye. Second one isn't really an assumption, but I do get this a lot. I thought you looked older than you are. So I had put a poll on my story a while ago asking people how old they thought I was, just because. And a lot of people thought I was like 26, 27. So I am 21. I'm actually turning 22 in about 2 weeks. And I think it's either because I look really old or I give off a very mature, confident persona, and I'm gonna choose to think that it's the latter and not the former. Next up, I assume you're really tall. I also get this one a lot. Probably one of my most asked questions is, how tall are you? So I am 5'3". Almost. So I'm 5'2 3/4, and a lot of people just assume that I'm super tall, and I think it's probably because of, you know, knowing my ankles and like maybe proportions and whatnot. But yeah, I'm not super tall. I'm a little bit below average. Hi, can you see me? I totally forgot to film like my height and like comparing myself to something that was like a standard size. I was gonna do it after, and I already changed right back into my pajamas. You know, got the classic Tom and Jerry. Oh boy. Okay, so we are gonna find something that you can compare me to. So this is a door. I think doors are pretty standard. So I'm just gonna, stop it. Ow! Don't bite me, you little bastard. So this is my height. As you can see, I'm 5'3". Yeah, okay. Next assumption, you're pregnant. No, I'm not pregnant. No, I'm not pregnant. Kind of going off that topic, one assumption is you love babies. I am kind of neutral about babies in general. I know it's something really weird to be neutral about, but I'm just not super familiar with babies. So I am the youngest in my family, like completely. There's not one cousin or cousin's kid or anything like that. I'm just the youngest in my entire family that I'm aware of. So I have never really been around babies. I don't even think I've held a baby. I don't even think I would know where to start when it comes to holding a baby. I do know that one time, so in high school, I was in the honor society, and one of like the tasks that we had to do, or like the charitable deeds, we had to help out at like the local library during one of like the kids' nights. And I remember I was with this like little 7-year-old girl, and I was just like, we were just like looking at each other, and I didn't really know how to like interact. It was very awkward. I was like, do I read to her? Like, do I know I'm not supposed to talk in a baby voice, but I feel weird talking to her and like, I don't know. I'm not comfortable with kids. I think I would be, especially when it comes to my own children. I mean, I would really hope so, but yeah, I'm just neutral on babies, I guess. Next question is, you were one of those cliquey kids in high school. Wrong, again, no, exact opposite. Well, I kind of went through stages. So in elementary school, I was kind of a bully. I was like one of those kids that would literally tattle on everybody and be like, I'm gonna tell on you to the teacher. And everybody hated me, but everybody also feared me and like kind of respected me. I don't know. I would say I was pretty well liked in elementary school. I was definitely not one of like the popular kids, but the popular kids liked me. That all changed come middle school because dun dun dun, I had my emo phase. We're talking like the whole panda eyes, dyed hair, safety pins in my ears, chains everywhere. I was very, very emo, and I was like one of the only emo kids, if not like the only emo kid in my middle school at the time. So at that stage, people like did not even want to approach me with like a 10-foot pole. So then kind of my social status just went. But then in high school, you know, I ditched the heavy makeup. I started dressing, you know, a little bit better. And I think I went back to like being well liked and respected, but definitely not one of the popular kids. So I got a lot of these assumptions basically saying that I was a straight A student in high school, and you would be correct on that one. I think I had the pretty stereotypical Asian parents in the way that like B's were an F and only A's mattered. So in high school, I think I mostly had, like I had all A's. I've never had a B in high school, but I had A minuses. So I don't know if that counts as being a straight A. I think it does. And then come college, I was so close to having a 4.0, and it still kind of haunts me. F***ing computer architecture, that's what it was. That class was the death of me. I got like a B- in that class. To be honest, it was really, really freeing. Like I had literally grinded and like tore myself to shreds all throughout high school, and half of my college experience being like, I need to get A's, I need to do good, I need to be academically rigorous, blah, blah, blah. As soon as I lost my 4.0 in college, I was like, now I don't really have to care as much. I mean, I still tried-ish, But I didn't kill myself if I didn't do super great on an exam. And yeah, it was very, very liberating, to the point where I was like, damn, I kind of wish I had just like gotten a C in a class all the way back in high school, and maybe like my attitude towards academics would have been shifted. If you asked me, which I know no one is asking me, but I'm going to talk about it anyways, grades are still pretty significant to me. Like when I have children, you know, I'm going to tell them strive, do the best you can, you know, get good grades. But they're not the end all be all. I mean, I got all A's, almost had a 4.0. I think I had like a 3.97779 something. And what did it do for me? Nothing, honestly. I'm not even using my degree at this point, but I do have to say though, that mentality of always having to grind when it came to academics, that bled into my life now, into my career. And I do think it's a blessing and a curse because, you know, I work really hard for what I have today, and I work really hard on my content and just my career and everything I think in my life. But it comes at a cost. I overwork myself, and you know, there's a fine balance with everything. I definitely will talk about that in a little bit because we do have a couple assumptions about being a workaholic and such, so I'm gonna put a pin in that for now. Kind of also on the same topic, the next assumption is your parents wanted you to be a doctor, surgeon, or engineer. Bing! Yes, or marry one. I guess that worked too. My parents have always pushed for me and my siblings to reach for super high-paying, stable jobs. But have you ever heard that like the youngest child is the one who is like the most coddled and like has the least pressure? Yeah, that was pretty true for my family. Also, I was really fiery and I did like not go out without a fight. So come time for my college experience, I was like, Mom, I'm an artist. I want to follow my dreams. So they actually let me pursue graphic design. And then I transferred to CS after one semester on my own free will. So I would like to think that I am both really logical and like academically driven, as well as super creative. And don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed graphic design. I was a graphic designer for a couple years in high school, and I think it really, really helps my current job right now. But in college, like I would go to these classes and they were really fun, like a drawing and like, you know, computer, digital art and stuff. But I would go home and like watch Netflix every day and like barely had any homework. And for me, it was such a shift from like grinding every day in high school that I actually really yearned for something more rigorous. And you know, there's a ton of people in computer science in my family, my brother, my aunt, my uncle, my brother-in-law. And so I was like, you know what? Let me try it. So after like the first day of class, we got this homework assignment and I was like working all night on it, banging my head against a window. I was like, I cannot figure it out. But when I finally figured it out, it was like the most cathartic feeling ever. And instantly, like, I fell in love with computer science, or at least, let me clarify, I fell in love with coding, because after, you know, all of my actual computing coding classes, you had to take like other things like operating systems, architecture, etc., which aren't just coding. I was like, ugh, this is so boring. But yeah, I really liked coding at the time. I wouldn't say it's like a passion. I'm definitely like not coding in my free time, and I'm actually very glad that, you know, my career path has shifted. But I think if I was still pursuing a computer science career, it would be fruitful for me and I would enjoy it. So I'm like realizing that like I feel like I'm not even like answering the questions or really talking about the assumptions. I'm just going on tangents. But I also don't know what's going on with my hair situation. I've been really disliking my hair lately. It's definitely because I decided to cut it myself instead of going to a salon. And you know, I'm starting to look a little bit like Edna. Moving on. I think this was like the most assumed thing about me. You're rich as hell, you're rich, your family's rich, etc., etc. Growing up, we did live very comfortably. So my mom was a mail carrier and my dad was working for the state of Massachusetts. I would say based on their income alone, we definitely were not rich. We were definitely comfortable, you know, middle class. But if you looked at my life on paper, we had a really big house, okay? I'm talking like this giant, creepy English tutor. So just basing off of that, you would think that we were very well off. But that is the thing that my parents wanted you to think. So my parents, because they were immigrants and they didn't have a lot when they were growing up, when they came here, they were always about saving for the future. So yes, while we had a lot of money, while we were comfortable, while my parents paid for the majority of my college education, growing up, we were very, very frugal. Again, not saying by any means that like we were struggling financially or anything like that. But when it came to like a lifestyle, we as kids, we didn't have a lot. Like we didn't have a lot of like games, toys. We wouldn't get a lot on Christmas. Looking back now, and I think they too kind of regret living such a stingy lifestyle. But in regards to like now myself as an individual, I'm very comfortable. I don't think I'm the type of person to let money and how much I earn dictate who I am and my personality. So we're getting kind of like, not deep, but like definitely not like introductory material assumptions. So the next assumption is you instantly judge people if they don't have the same opinions as you. So I actually had to think about this one for a bit when I first read it. Obviously there's tiers to it, right? I don't like pineapple. I don't like pineapple on pizza. If somebody were to be like, pineapple should be on pizza, if I was like, okay, you are a terrible person with bad taste. Obviously, like I'm a very judgy person, right? But if somebody were to make a very racist and disgusting remark, yeah, I'm gonna judge you. And that's totally acceptable because it says a lot about your character. So I'm gonna interpret this question kind of like in the middle tier, maybe. So let's say you have an opinion on something that might say something about your character, but also might not. I can't really think of one like off the top of my head, but I think in general, if you don't have the same opinion as me, that's fine. If you can back up why you have that opinion. One thing I really, really dislike and what grinds my gears is when somebody says like, oh, I have this hot take, blah, 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 and they have no reasoning to back up why they think that or what justifies their way of thinking. As long as you back up why you think the way you think and like those reasonings are valid, then you do you. So the next assumption is a super goofy personality. Yeah, I'm really goofy. I don't know if you can tell, but you know, this is still me in my warm-up stage, but I would say I'm like super bubbly, super energetic all over the place. I know somebody else mentioned this, but like my whole Instagram baddie personality, yeah, that's totally just like one small facet of me that I just portray in this persona online. It's just a small portion of me. We call her Vivian. For those of you in the know, we call her Vivian, you know. I'm Vanessa, she's Vivian. Vivian, she's very bad bitch, confident, you know, doesn't give any fucks. Vanessa, on the other hand, she's a lot more bubbly. She can get pretty insecure, kind of awkward. She's not like other girls. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I would say I'm very goofy. But yeah, I think that word really encapsulates my vocabulary today. Is very, anyways, it really encapsulates my personality. So the next assumption, sorry, I'm like reading it from my laptop and my contacts are kind of like behind. I need to update the prescription, so I'm like squinting. Pretentious, but I don't mean it in like a rude way, just from what I've seen, and I'd really like you to prove me wrong. I don't think I'm pretentious. Done, proven. I don't think it, so it must be true. No, but I don't think I'm pretentious. Or like another thing is somebody assumed that I was a little bit superficial. I would like to think that I'm pretty down to earth. Again, I think it's probably because of like the super glamorous image of myself that I put online. I think a lot of people, I mean, I can't speak for all influencers. I can only speak for myself, but I think when people see my life, they think I'm living this like super glitzy, glamorous life, like going out to eat all the time, going on shopping trips, when in reality, it's literally like me and my cat by ourselves in the apartment all day, and like we barely leave the apartment. I mean, I think it'd be really fun for me to film like a day in my life type video. Let me know in the comments if that's some sort of, you know, content that you want to see. Yeah, I don't think I'm pretentious. I don't think I let my money, you know, material goods or I don't know, status. I don't really know. I'm just making stuff up at this point. I don't think I let anything really dictate who I am. I don't think I've changed from my career at all. If you ask any of my friends, I don't think they would say I've changed. They don't see me as like vivacious honey. They see me as Vanessa, you know, the girl that they've known before all of this started. I'm like getting stuck on the word prove because like obviously you can't prove anything. You can't really prove whether or not you're pretentious or not. But I guess the way that I can. Okay, so I've noticed this when somebody criticizes you, okay, in any way, or just, you know, remarks on something that they see in you, watch how you react, okay? I've noticed in people, and in myself of course, that if somebody criticizes you about something that you yourself are deep down insecure about or question about yourself, then a lot of times you tend to get really defensive or hurt, you know? Like this is a very silly example, but if somebody online commented like, ew, Vanessa, your ears look funny. I'm not insecure about my ears. I don't think about my ears. I'd be like, whatever. But if somebody online said to me like, oh, your ass is so flat, then yeah, I'm gonna be like, oh, is it? Oh shit, maybe it is, and like yada yada yada, because I'm insecure about that. So I think when you assumed that I was pretentious, it doesn't affect me, it doesn't bother me because I know it's not true. And so I don't get defensive or hurt or like second guess myself about it. So that's just a little bit of info, tidbit, do what you want with it. But yeah, I just can't get over my hair right now. I guess that's the way that I'm kind of superficial. When it comes to like looking presentable and stuff, I can't seem to let some things go. So I guess in that way, I can be a little bit superficial. Okay, so next up, this one is probably one of the touchiest subjects that I'm gonna talk about today, and one that I'm a little nervous about. You struggle with self-image as a thin person as well. Yes, if I could make that yes underscored, bolded, capitalized, highlighted, exclamation point, yes, I do. I think it is tough as, you know, somebody on the smaller side, somebody who works out. It's tough to talk about self-image on the internet because a lot of times, you know, you get a lot of, well, what would you know about it? You're skinny, or like your worries are so insignificant in comparison to other people. While that might be true, it is really dehumanizing and closed-minded to take away somebody else's experiences and insecurities and thoughts just because somebody else's might be greater in the grand scheme of things, supposedly greater. I just feel like there's not a lot of space as a smaller person to talk about body issues without people immediately jumping on you, which is why I feel like I have to kind of, you know, walk on eggshells when it comes to it, which is really unfortunate because not only do I want to express my insecurities, but I also want other people who are in the same boat as me to feel like they can talk about it and to feel like there is a space for you. Not just thin people either, I'm just talking about everybody. Everybody deserves to talk about their issues and insecurities without being compared to other people. But yeah, I'm gonna talk about me and like, you know, my thoughts, full transparency, everything like that. So my whole life, I've struggled a lot with body image. In middle school, I was bulimic, you know. In quarantine, I calorie counted, and if I didn't get less than 1,200 calories every single day, I would beat myself mentally and feel so bad about myself. Not only was I eating around 1,200 calories a day, but I was also lifting at the gym every day, you know, pushing my body to its limits at an unhealthy rate. And at that point, I loved my body. You know, I was super lean. I had a 6-pack. You know, I loved the way I looked. Every picture that I took came out great. And I thought to myself, wow, I had done it. I had conquered my self-image issues. I didn't conquer shit, okay? I just ran away from the problem by sculpting what I thought was the perfect body. I didn't care that I was basically like starving myself half the days. And then the semester rolled around, you know, I couldn't really get to the gym as much. I started eating junk every day. I gained, you know, probably like 10 pounds of fat, which might not seem a lot, but on somebody who's really small, like 10 pounds is a lot, okay? Like that's visible, especially to, you know, me who's hypercritical and looks at myself every single day as my job. So I would say, yeah, lately I've been struggling a lot with body image because I gained weight, because I feel this pressure to, you know, be that body goals that people see online. When I'm not feeling great, when, you know, photos aren't turning out great, I'll look at my like really good snatched pictures or pictures from the summer and I'm gonna be like, why don't I look like that anymore? Even if the snatched pictures are from a day ago. It is so messed up. It is so infuriating knowing the logic and being like, Vanessa, you know you didn't gain 20 pounds in one day. And yet still feeling this like crippling, anxious, like, ugh, why can't I get there again? I think I need to accept that all facets of me are me. Like, yes, the wonderful, snatched, gorgeous, posed, Instagram baddie pictures, those are me. But also the bloated, no makeup, like can't get her angles right version of me is also me, and I need to accept that, and I need to stop trying to chase this other version of me all the time because that version of me can't exist at every single minute of every single day. Another thing that really, really affects me is, I think a lot of you guys know that I struggle with digestion issues, if you catch my drift. So sometimes I will quite literally be constipated for like a week straight, and what happens is like the stuff inside me has nowhere to go, so it just grows, and at the end of the week I quite literally look pregnant, and it is really, really crippling on my self-esteem, especially when I had to take photos and I'm like sucking in so hard. Like I get really, really bloated sometimes. I know I have to see a doctor about that. I've been saying that for like a year or more and I haven't. But sometimes I'm so stressed out, okay? I don't Photoshop my photos. Well, like I tweak the lighting, and I'm not gonna lie, I'll whiten my teeth, smooth skin, but I don't touch my body. But sometimes I genuinely... Do you ever see like the posts of like influencers getting exposed for their face tuning and stuff, and they'll have like one of their Instagram pictures versus them in like a video screenshot or something looking completely different? Sometimes I actually get nervous that like somebody's gonna get a picture of me when I'm really snatched versus like when I'm like really bloated and be like, oh, she's photoshopping her pictures. So yeah, I don't touch my body. There's been times I'm like, my waist could look more snatched, I'm looking a little bloated, but I just feel like that's not only lying to my audience, but also lying to myself. Because then when I look in the mirror and I don't look like that, I want to be like, damn, and feel really bad about myself. Oh, that's something that I would judge you about. Sorry, I'm thinking about like one of the other assumptions that somebody said. Is like the whole, if someone has a different opinion, like if you think it's okay to massively Facetune and like warp your body and like, you know, just make body enhancements, I'm gonna judge you because I think that's really irresponsible and detrimental to your audience and to yourself too. Okay, so, yeah, that was a heavy topic. And again, it's really scary to talk about just because I feel like I'm gonna get like ripped to shreds over something. You know, the internet loves to stretch and pull and... Okay, so the next one is also a bit of a heavy topic, but you seem like you put too much pressure on yourself. I hope I'm wrong though. A lot of other assumptions that are like, oh, you're a perfectionist, and it kind of ties into you wish you weren't an influencer sometimes. So I think you can kind of tell through, you know, me talking today that I'm definitely a type A personality. I definitely put a lot of pressure on myself. When I was in high school and half of my college experience, it was pressure on grades. Now it's pressure on my career, pressure on my body, pressure on literally every aspect of my life, and it can be really, really tiring. So to kind of touch about the whole sometimes you wish you weren't an influencer, there have been a couple times. There have been a couple moments in my life where I said to myself, damn, maybe I should just pick up a computer science 9-to-5 job. But those are, pretty rare. I would say that in general, I'm a very stressed out person. It's something that I'm actively working on because I don't want to die a premature death being so stressed all the time. And again, this is like another thing that I feel like the internet can take and roast me over. They're gonna say like, oh my god, she's complaining about her influencer, privileged, easy life, and that's not what I'm doing. First of all, I want to preface how insanely grateful I am to have this as my job, as my career, to have so many people supporting me and this amazing audience who was there on my every move. And I know a lot of you have seen me grow from like 10K to where I am now. But just like every other job in the whole wide world, there are pros and there are cons. And there are especially cons to this kind of industry when you are a type A person. To somebody who's type B and more relaxed, somebody that I should probably strive to be, having this type of job is great because it comes with your own hours, you get to decide your deadlines, you are your own boss, there's no pressure. But to me, I have a really, really hard time making the distinction between work life and life. Like when you work a 9-to-5 office job or whatnot, you go home at like 5 p.m., you don't think about what's on your computer, you don't even check your emails. I'm sure the majority of people don't. Like, if I was in comp sci right now, I'm not gonna be thinking about arrays and characters and algorithms on my off time. No, you go home, you relax, you put your feet up, you watch Netflix. With me, it's like literally my whole life, When I'm going out with friends or having a date with Jason, I feel guilty if I don't document it and put it on my stories. I get an urgent email from a brand saying that they need my sponsored video done over the weekend. I have meetings in the middle of the night. But all of that aside, it's me who's the worst enemy because since I set my own to-do list and my own checklist, it's never enough. Let's say that on my to-do list I have film a video and take a picture. If I get that done really, really fast and I have like another hour before I have to eat dinner or go to the gym or whatever, I'll be like, okay, let's see how much I can squeeze into that hour to really milk the time that I've got, instead of like relaxing and, resetting my brain. Or on the inverse, if I have a really non-productive day, like the other day when I was trying to take pictures for like 4 hours and they just weren't coming out great, I'll just sit there, cry, and feel like I'm a failure, like I couldn't get anything done, regardless of the fact that I was actively trying and working my hardest for 4 hours straight. But to me, it's kind of like, well, you didn't get anything out of it. You didn't get any pictures. So yeah, I put a lot of pressure on myself because, at the end of the day, this is my dream job. And I really think it's myself that is holding me back from it becoming that. Especially now that I just graduated like a month ago, I'm in this like weird transition period where I'm just trying to figure out my schedule. I'm trying to figure out basically the rest of my life with, no guidance. I don't have a boss to tell me when to come in. I don't have somebody saying, here are all your deadlines. There isn't like a how-to manual on how to be an influencer and not go crazy. Okay, so this is editing Vanessa 2.0. I don't know when the heck I'm gonna finally finish this video because it is taking so incredibly long, but I'm getting distracted. So anyways, I quickly wanted to pop in and say and clarify that I have an amazing support group, within my friends and Jason, as well as an incredible, amazing management team that helps me, figure all of my deadlines and get my shit in order. But I think what I was trying to say is, on a day-to-day basis, it was a really hard shift to try to figure out time management and everything since it was so new. I think that's really what I was trying to say. Not that I don't have any support at all. That's not true. Just that, you know, it's still kind of hard. Okay, bye. But yeah, at the end of the day, I'm so insanely grateful and happy that this is what I get to do for a living. Okay, so we've talked about some pretty deep and dark subjects, so I think the last assumption, I just kind of wanted to lighten up the mood. So the last one is, you laugh at butt jokes more often than your boyfriend does. Yeah, that's true. I have a pretty childish sense of humor sometimes. I wouldn't say they're like butt jokes. My boyfriend's always like, why do you have such a thing for poop? I think I make a lot of poop jokes and like farting jokes. I know, I'm like 5, but yeah, I would definitely say I have a more childish sense of humor than he does. He has like a darker humor. And mine's like literally something that you would see in like Family Guy or I don't know. Yeah, that basically wraps it up for this video. Thanks for tuning in to my ramblings as usual. I really am gonna try to post more on YouTube. That's like the one thing. I would say that I'm, again, super motivated. I light my own fire under my ass. Except for YouTube, that's like the one thing that I don't push myself to do when I probably should. I'm gonna go grab my cat because he probably wants to say bye to you guys. So, 1 second. I feel bad because he was sleeping, but I wanted you guys to get blessed by looking at this little guy's face. Bye! Bye! Thanks for watching! Subscribe and like this video. Okay.